Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I have the DJI NEO in front of me, don't I? Well, yeah, it looks like it doesn't, but of course it's not. This is a DJI NEO knockoff. No doubt about it, they're going for the DJI NEO look. This is a Temu special. This is a little drone. You can get a Temu, Aliexpress, Banggood, any of those Chinese vendors are gonna be carrying this little drone because it's called the V66. As you can see here is a little box it comes in, the V66 Drone. And you can get it in some other colors. They do have it in an orange, I know. You can see it right here, which I actually prefer that, but I wanted to go with the DJI look. That's why I went with that gray whenever I ordered it. You can see right down to the controller. This looks a lot like the DJI like Mini 2, the standard kind of controller like I have on a Mini 2. But of course it's a lot smaller and it is really cheap. Toy grade. Now you also get some spare props with it and a prop removal tool, a USB-C charging cable for the battery, and a phone clip holder that will go in the rear here. You pop this out and put it in there. I think this also takes 3 AAA batteries. So let's take a closer look at the drone itself. Now this camera on the front is motorized, and if I stop talking and move it, you'll hear the motor. And if I remember here, I'll fire the drone up in a second and show you that. It also has blue LEDs that are outside of the body. You can turn those on and off. And it has obstacle avoidance. You can see a little infrared sensor here on the sides, and there's one here in the front. And I don't know if it really does have one in the back, but I don't ever like using that. I wish they wouldn't include it because the obstacle avoidance does not work well in the daytime at all because of the interference of light, reflections. They're terrible. So that's something I probably won't even worry about testing. Most people don't because it just doesn't work well. It's a gimmick, and I wish they wouldn't include that with these toys. Just drop the price $5 and let's get rid of that because it's not going to work, because what generally happens as well, when you're in that mode, the drone has to tilt so little forward so that it can capture the reflection of the infrared that the drone can barely move. It's so slow, like a slight drift of wind will blow these drones away. So you don't want to use that mode. Oh, and one other thing, it also does claim it has optical flow, and boy, it is really hard to see. There's a little, I mean, the smallest pinhole camera I think I've ever seen next to my thumb. So it should be looking at the ground and trying to hold position. You would think it'd be something large like this, but I'm not exactly sure what that actual is right there. If that's some sort of obstacle avoidance infrared light or something there, but this is your pinhole little camera there. So that's going to look at the ground and try to hold position. That usually does work quite well. So it'll sort of give it sort of a poor man's GPS, so to speak. Now also, the camera has an app you can use for your first person view Wi-Fi feed. I believe that was called the Wi-Fi UAV, but it don't actually tell you the name. You have to scan the QR code, but I'll put a screenshot from the Google Play Store, since I'm on Android, of what that app is called that you will use to connect to the Wi-Fi feed coming off this little drone. Now it just comes with one 1S LiPo. It's a 3.7 volt, 1800 milliamp hour. So it's a pretty decent capacity. And there's that USB-C charging port on the front of that battery. And take a closer look at this little controller because it looks really cool. And again, it looks like the DJI controllers. These top little bumpers are to tilt for the motor tilt of the camera up and down. This one here is your 360 flips, I believe. They had a different name for it, but it should be your 360 flips. This was your obstacle avoidance mode. So if you want to turn that on, you would press this button. Again, I don't plan on testing that. This is your auto takeoff and auto landing. This is your light control. It would be a long press, and that will turn the blue lights on and off. Short press will cycle through your 3 speed rates. So let's fire this up real quick so you guys can see these lights, because during the daytime, when I'm out reviewing this, they may not show up very well. So you're just going to press this rear of the drone, and there they come on. You can see the motor fired up and tested for the camera. Then we're just going to go ahead and turn this on. Then we'll do it up, down to bind it. And it'll do a quick flash as it did like a gyro calibration. And there we go. That is really neat. And if you want to tilt that camera, there we can do it with the controller. Go to this side to move it back up. And again, those lights, I can do a long press and turn those on and off. I like them like this if I were flying this indoors, which because it's sort of like a whoop, you know, it's enclosed. You're not going to damage these props, you know, so it's nice to give you a spare set, but you'd have to get something up inside of here to damage it. So if you bump it in your walls, you're fine. But during the daytime, these lights won't be very visible, but boy, they look fantastic. Especially when I hold it up here, you can see them all the way around the drone. Where from the top, it looks great, but you don't even notice that it goes all the way around like that through the drone. They also give you this helipad. You know, it's a nice little thing they threw in here. It's very cheap and it's quite brittle. So, you know, it's going to want to tend to not lay flat very well, and it's probably going to be easily blown away if there's any wind if you're outside. All right, that should be enough for the overview of this little drone. Let's get this little DJI NEO Knockoff outside and let's test it and see how well this little guy does fly. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm out at the local park. I'm going to take the V66 up now for a test flight. Now, I don't have my phone attached to the controller. I'm just going to set it off to the side. The little phone clip holder is not the greatest, and it kind of partially snapped it, putting it in. So I'm not too concerned. I just want to fly line of sight. But we'll go ahead and record some video. You guys can see the quality. I don't expect much from a $25 drone. But let's go ahead and start recording video. I'm just going to start recording some video here. And we should be getting some video recorded now. Let's go ahead and take off of this little guy and see how it flies on. You can aim this camera all the way up, which is crazy. I've never seen that on, you know, a toy drone. I'm going to aim it slightly up, probably like this. So when I fly forward, I'm more looking forward. So let's go ahead and take off here from the table here. Let's go ahead from the picnic table. Let's go ahead and take off here. So let's do an auto takeoff here. Now this is the first rate, and see there's a bit more wind today than forecast, and it's fighting it. But I'm full right roll just to keep it in one spot. But there is the yaw, pretty slow. Let's just ease it over here a bit. All right, so let's go ahead and take it up into the second rate here. We get 2 clicks, 2 beeps, and it's definitely sportier now. I can see the app over here is still recording video. Much sportier, so I wouldn't do the first rate unless you're flying indoors. And then there's the third rate, and that is even sportier. You can see a nice quick yaw. And despite some breeze from here right to left, it's doing pretty good. I can definitely see those blue LEDs here in the daytime. This is actually a great little flyer. I'm not surprised. This is kind of a proven design, these whoops like this. So I'm not at all surprised that this flies really well. But a day like today where we got quite a bit of, forecast was supposed to be calm. Coming 6 to 8 mile per hour winds, but there's definitely been some wind gusts that have far exceeded 8 miles an hour here today. Let's test those 360 flips so we have sufficient battery power. Again, the instructions called it a little something different, but let's press that button. Let's see, is it gonna do it? There we go, it did right and left. Boy, it really had a hard time recovering. Let's try it left. Look, it really does not do 360 flips nearly as well as I would have expected. Let's try it again and see, will it do forward and back? No. No, it'll only do right and left. So you cannot do forward or backwards 360 flips. I'm not someone who does a lot of 360 flips with these toy drones. It's a cool little novelty, but once you've done them quite a bit, you know, they lose their appeal. But you are putting a lot of stress on those little brushed motors. You will wear out the motors quicker if you do a lot of 360 flips. It's another reason I just don't do them a whole lot. They're just, you know, they lose their appeal. Since I don't have the FPV camera, I can't exactly see what I'm looking at here since it's not attached to the controller, but We can certainly do some adjusting of the camera so you guys can see. See, what do we do? Are we looking up here? Yeah, so we should be, no, we're actually looking down. So this should be looking down now. And it'll take it back up. You guys can just see the tilt. Let's just see how it's looking right now. That's just about, that should be about level right there. And I'll show you, we'll look all the way up and see what that looks like. That's kind of funny. But it might become useful actually if you needed to look up at something. That is looking, it'll go up more than that, I think. That's about as far as I think it wants to go. It's looking up quite a bit. We might be getting some glare from the sun. Let's bring it back down. That's about pretty good like that. Maybe up one spot, because that way you are accounting for the tilt, the pitch of the drone. Whoa, it crashed into the ground there. That's odd. And that could have been a little gust of wind that caused that. As I turned around, it slammed into the ground. Is it gonna go now? It didn't kill its motors, and it could be because it landed in the grass and didn't really detect the ground. Overall, it's a good little flyer. It definitely looks like you're flying a DJI NEO by its look. Even here in the highest rate, I'm going into the wind here, and it's not even wanting to move because it's just so light. I'm just gonna land it here. There we go. And we'll try to take off again here real quick. I mean, it could be getting a bit of a voltage sag on the battery, even though I don't see any indication of a low voltage alarm on it. As for the gyro calibration, I don't know. We could try some of the standard methods, but I'm not sure. It could be one of those drones that only does a gyro calibration whenever you first turn it on. So it seems like it's certainly getting a low battery. Let's go on the rates here again. Okay, let's get into the high. I want to confirm it's in the highest rate. Let's see, can we do a manual takeoff? That seemed like that might have done a gyro calibration, both sticks down and out. Yeah, I think it did. So that's what it is. Sometimes instructions will tell you that, sometimes they don't. I could have missed it. Both sticks down and out. Let's go ahead and do the auto takeoff again. It looks to me like we still have the app running. Yeah, I think we do. So hopefully we're still recording video. Sometimes these apps, they can crash. Now we're getting a low voltage beep, and that is coming from the controller. So I thought it was getting low. So not a bad little flight time. Nice little flyer. $25, you really can't beat it. Let's take it over here and do an auto landing over the picnic table. Yeah. This is fun. I like this. The lights are cool. You can get it yellow and orange. So if you're interested in those other colors, if you want to make it look like you got a DJI NEO, then obviously you go with the gray like I got, and you might be able to fool some people. They don't look really closely. You can pick these up from Temu, where I got mine, or Aliexpress. I guess I'm sure Banggood has it as well. I'll have a purchase link down in the video description, probably to Aliexpress. So if you want to click that affiliate link and pick this up, Aliexpress is going to be the cheapest. Temu is around $30. I've seen as low as $22 on Aliexpress with free shipping. If you're here in the US, you probably want to do that really quickly with the tariff stuff going on. But yeah, really inexpensive little drone. So I absolutely do like it, and I think it'll be a pretty good little indoor flyer and outdoor flyer for either inexperienced or an experienced pilot like myself. So just check that video description if you're interested in it. While you're at it, guys, click that bell, that way you notify when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have an awesome day.
The power of the dark side.